This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good
Well,
morning, everybody. Welcome
good
to the
morning.
January 26th edition of Coaching Call, our second one of 2023. And I will confess that I almost missed it. Uh, Kevin Williams came in the office a few minutes ago. I'm feverishly getting ready for a 10 o'clock class I'm teaching. And he said, "Hey, we're here for your 9 o'clock." And I thought, oh my goodness, I had completely forgotten. And that means I did not send out a reminder to anybody else this morning. And that means that our crew is going to be very elite this morning without all the masses. So let me just share a few thoughts with you, and then we'll open it up for good, bad, and ugly, and any of your questions that you want to pose to the team. But I really do appreciate you guys joining us today. So I want to talk to you for just a couple minutes. Oh, thank you. Wait, I'm getting coffee delivery.
Which one you want?
This one right here. I like that one. Kevin Williams is spoiling me this morning. So,
Two thumbs up. Not one, but two.
um, I want to talk to you about the importance of taking action. And I realize I'm talking to, an action-oriented group here, but this is a message that resonates in my heart unceasingly. I think about these kind of things every single day. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you, personally why this is so important to me. Like many of you who are in the real estate business, my revenues dropped dramatically last fall. They were under pressure already, but dramatically in October with the real estate market going off a cliff. Combine that with the fact I'm also in the mortgage business and it was hit by the same whammy. So I got a double whammy. And it's been quite concerning to me, to the point that I talked to my banker last week about getting a short-term loan to fund operations until things pick up a little bit. But so it's been and by the way, I think we're going to be okay. I don't think I'm going to need it because the market is picking up. We're already seeing it. And so, yes, praise God. Activity is much stronger quicker than we expected. I was always saying mid-January we should see it. But I polled everybody at class on Monday, and unanimously, everybody here said they see signs of things picking up. Same thing on the mortgage side. We actually had to ratchet up our projected closings for January. So all good. But nevertheless, I have dealt with that financial stress for several months, wondering, how long will reserves last? What am I going to do to keep things rocking and rolling? And the one thing that activity wise that has really helped me emotionally be stable and continue to focus is I just get up every morning and keep doing the right things, and I keep doing them until I'm so tired I can't do them anymore, and then we turn on the Netflix. Okay. Mary enjoys a good movie and I very quickly pass out on the couch. There's a little window into our world. But just that constant and rhythmic cycle of activity has really helped me emotionally, psychologically, and no doubt helped the business, because our lives are subject to so many things outside our control. We don't control interest rates. We don't control the market. We don't control what the competition is doing. And so I think we have to focus on those things that we can control. And one of them is our level of activity. So I'm going to share my screen for just a moment. The opposite of activity, I hate to even use the word, would be laziness or slothfulness. And the scriptures have a lot to say about it. And so, as I am wont to do, I want to share a few of these with you. Let me open this on my screen so I can read them along with you. Are y'all seeing my screen now? It says Colossians at the top. Actually, I'm not hearing you. Should I go back and see you to get an answer? Let's see. Is that a thumbs up? Okay, gotcha. Okay, very good.
See you.
All right, appreciate that. Let's just run through these. I may make a random comment or two, but Colossians 3, whatever you do, do it heartily as to the Lord and not to men, knowing that from the Lord you'll receive the reward of your inheritance, for you serve the Lord Christ. Ecclesiastes, whatever your hands find to do, do it with your might, for there is no work or device or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you are going. Meaning, you only get one life, and we want to take full advantage of it. Got to shut the door again. Just a moment. All right. Hebrews 6. And we desire that each of you show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope until the end, that you do not become sluggish, but imitate those who through faith and patience inherit the promises. So notice the key words in each of these first through scriptures. Heartily, do it heartily, all your might, and then diligence and not being sluggish. And now I'm going to share with you what is probably my all-time favorite coaching call scripture. You've heard it before from me. I taught it to my kids when they were young. They still quote it because they heard it so many times. Proverbs 6 through 11, go to the ant, you sluggard, consider her ways and be wise, which having no captain, overseer, or ruler, provides her supplies in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest. How long will you slumber, O sluggard? When will you rise from your sleep? A little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall your poverty come on you like a prowler, and your need like an armed man. So there we go. There's more. You see, I've got more on the page here. But I think that makes the point that diligence, working heartily, working with all of our might, these are the keys to breakthrough. And then I also want to share with you a few comments that I found online that I thought were of a very positive nature. Let me see if I can pull them up here real quick and just share a few of them with you. Let me see if I can get it open on my big screen here. Oh, it's the wrong place. Let me go back. It was a nice place, but I don't want to set that as my default browser right now. Share something else. Screens. That's not it. Applications. Where'd that rascal go? Let me try this. That doesn't look like it. I'm gonna open this and see if that's it, and then we'll see. No, it's not. All right, you're just going to have to be satisfied with the quotes that I already shared with you. So my apologies that the technology got me again. But the point is, control what we control, do what we can do. And that means we're going to go through tough times, we'll go through good times, but what steadies the ship is the discipline of consistent activity, doing the right things. And just think about it very practically. The farmer could complain that when it's time to plant the seeds, it's too hot or too cold or too windy, or he is hungry or she is tired. And yet those seeds have to get in the ground if there's going to be a harvest. So my big encouragement to you for today is, even though we've come through a very difficult time, this is a time for planting seeds. It's a time for cultivating. In many cases, it's a time for harvesting. And it's going to be those real estate agents who are actively doing the right things consistently who get the greatest results. You've heard me rant before that I'm not a big fan of this whole massive action mantra. Get up in the morning and make 400 phone calls and go knock on 100 doors. And the reason I'm not a big fan of that is it's unsustainable. I think what's much more important is that you maintain consistent activity over time. Now, remember the old child's fable, it is the turtle who wins, not the hare, not the sudden burst of energy followed by the nap, which a sudden burst of energy is always followed by a nap. Massive action, right? You can't sustain it. You're going to have to take a break. Whereas if you discipline your business life, block time for critical activities, Make sure that your business is in a better place when you go to bed at night than when you woke up in the morning. You're going to win. And I'll give you a couple examples. Like most days, I have 3 million things going on in my life at the same time. All this stuff is going on at our spring campus. We have been moving, shifting, packing, unpacking, giving things away, seeing what we can store, seeing what we need to take home. This has been going on for a couple weeks, plus everything else in my life. That's just been the newest addition to my responsibilities. And yet the last 2 days, I've met with highly productive realtors who lead big teams of agents. And in talking with them, I got a commitment from each of them to begin working with our mortgage company. These are EXP agents, other parts of Houston. And I took comfort at the end of the day, through all the busyness and all the activity, my business was in a better place in the end. And if I simply did every day what I did those 2 days, and that was compounded over a series of months or for a year, what difference would it make in my business if over the course of a year, every single day, a highly productive real estate agent said, Frank, I'm going to begin working with your team. Even taking out holidays and weekends, that's another 250 people who are committing to do business with our company. So as a real estate agent, I would encourage you to think about the activities that are going to create big wins in your business that you can stack up consistently over time. And that could be as simple as the things that we talked about, adding one person to your database every day that you've made a connection with. That's 5 a week. That's 200 to 300 a year, even accounting for holidays and days off, vacations and such. And as we know, it only takes 100 local families to generate a 6-figure income in this business. So think about those key activities. And I'll tell you just one more thing before I get off this rant. The key thing in your business is talking to people about real estate. That's the key thing. It's having real estate conversations. So as you think about what are these activities that are going to make a difference in my business, it's doing what I did the last 2 days. I had scheduled conversations with real estate agents. You need to be having scheduled conversations with potential buyers, potential sellers, potential investors that you can add to your network. And if you only had one a day, but at the end of that conversation, they said, you know what, Annie? You know what, Blythe? You know what, Bill? Next time I have a real estate need or I hear about somebody who does, I'm going to use you. I'm going to refer you. I'm going to mention your name. You just stack up one win a day like that. And that's not the only thing you're going to have to do. This business has crazy demands on us. Your family has crazy demands on you. Sometimes you want to take a little time for yourself. But if you'll just stack up one relational win, one conversational win every day, that is the activity that will make a difference. You heard the scripture from Proverbs. If you store up your food in the summer, you're going to continue to eat in the winter. Storing up food for us is that big win every day, that relational win, that conversational win. Okay, there's my rant for the day. Let me pause right there. Let's get some feedback. What do you think about activity and your big wins? He found the button.
Frank,
Go ahead, Bill.
Frank, are you able to send that list out of all those scriptures
I'd love
that
to.
you did? Please email
Yeah,
it to it.
I'll do that. I'll send it to everybody, and I'll get those motivational quotes I found too that I was unable to pull up on the screen, and I'll add those. I'll send those all out this morning.
Okay. And
Happy to.
can I ask another question? What they said something about EXP is joining with, is it really Realtor.com? Realtor.com?
Okay, you are apparently in the know. Anybody else know about that?
So, good morning, guys. The big real estate conference is up in New York this week, Inman, and we get a seat we get a better seat every year. And it's just incredible. We have a new guy joining us this morning. Maybe he'll join us on the call. And I was telling him, I said, hey, did you see Glenn Sanford and Curtis Johnson on the exchange this week? I'm telling you, it's just getting better and better. But yeah, they did announce I think it's more of a marketing partnership with that. And what benefits come out of it in time, Bill, remain to be seen. But there is some kind of a deal or a benefit. And the details are all, I read the whole press release and it didn't say much, but there's something coming the way.
With Realtor.com.
The idea is that,
Realty.
right now, if there's a customer, sometimes it's actually easier for them to use the Zillow. They're used to using Zillow to find their houses. And the one we have in KV Core, right? People, they use the one they're used to. I think that's one of the improvements is going to be bringing some of that technology to bear. But Mike, did you have more of it?
Yeah, I didn't really gather much from what they released, but it sounds like there's going to be more options for like EXP branded stuff to go out from realty.com or something like that. I was like, okay, cool, but I don't know exactly what any of it meant.
It's enhanced marketing that we'll have the option of participating in, I think.
So let me share with you just one little tidbit about that. I am always trying to stay in touch with sources of business that are worth the investment, that generate a good ROI. And I interviewed Andrew Franklin recently, meeting with him again this afternoon, because that guy's just a walking brain trust. And I asked him, where does your team get their leads? In addition to builders and sphere of influence and open house, he said the one source that we are buying leads from right now is realty.com. And I said, realtor.com? And he said, no, realty.com, which I had never heard of until he made that comment. So apparently the guys and gals in the know at EXP HQ are aware of realty.com and the quality of the leads that they're providing. So I'll get more into that and get the details, but that sounds like great news. So thanks for bringing that up, Bill. All right, Cy, your turn.
Wait.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
maybe that was an inadvertent turn the mic on. Okay, anybody else?
Can I share one?
Yes, go ahead, Kevin.
So this is titled Blind Squirrel. Okay, I think you know the rest of the story. Blind Squirrel Finds Acorn. So I go to church and see people there, and lo and behold, some of them have figured out I'm a realtor. So I get a call out of the blue yesterday, and they're like, "Hey, we want to go see this house or this and that." And it's a guy that I was at a ministry meeting on Monday night. We're planning a big men's retreat, and now I'm helping them find a house. And I mean, it's just total happenstance and whatnot. Hey, come on in, Tim. There's good things, and so I just totally support everything Frank's saying this morning. This idea of just adding one more person to the database. I'm sending out my weekly email today. I've added a few this past week, but I still have not perfected the one a day or the one a week. And it's good to have because any list you market to, emails are going to die, people are going to move, things are going to fall off. So unless you're putting in a couple, it's going to decrease over time. But Ricky Cruz swears by his weekly email that is he gets just great results with it, and it's as simple as sending an email. And if you use KV Core, it's free, literally free. Every week, HAR puts out their stats. You could just grab the stats from HAR. They come out on Wednesday. You could grab yesterday's stats, plunk it in an email, and say, "This is what happened in Houston." And I obviously make it hopelessly complicated, but you don't have to. Don't do what I do. But still, the power of the weekly email is there.
Okay, I love it. So
Blythe's got wins too. She's holding back. Look at her. She's holding back.
well, I'm going to pull it out of him, Kevin, because Kevin just shared with us what his, kind of big activity initiative is, being consistent with his weekly email. I shared mine, meeting with a top realtor trying to stack up as many of those meetings every week as I can, but at least one a day. What are the key activities in your business that you've identified? And they may be something that we're all familiar with. It might be different. What do you do consistently that pushes your business forward?
I'll go. Everybody knows kind of social media is my thing, so I consistently am doing that. But I'm also a really heavy geo farmer, and what I found is that the geo farm stuff that I do paired with the social media, it's just like pouring fuel on top of that geo farm in my sphere. So it's not like I'm just getting cold leads off the social media. I'm not. It's people that I know or who are already a part of my sphere, who are part of my geo farm, who we happen to be connected on social media. But kind of those two things in conjunction are really what drives most of my business. Let's see, what do? We don't have a ton of turnover in my geo farm. So I don't do a monthly, but if you have a lot of turnover in your geo farm, you could do it monthly. I do it quarterly. I do a market update, just a little stats, in a cute little Canva template, that I post on our Facebook page, our like neighborhood Facebook page, with kind of just my comments about what's going on in the market specific to our neighborhood. That's something I do, and I'm doing 5 to 6 events in my geo farm every year. And I just kind of stay in flow with those people. When I go for walks or I see other people out for walks, I'm always in conversation with them. One of the things that I wanted to mention that kind of goes along too with what Frank was saying about just the consistency of the disciplines over time. I don't think a lot of people talk about, or people don't talk about it enough. When you first get started in real estate, how long you have to be consistent before you see the fruits of your labor. And it is a grind, and it's really hard to stay positive and to stay motivated and to continue to do those actions every single day or every single week with nothing to show for it. So just be encouraged. I promise you, those things compounded over time will help to grow your business. Y'all, I have 4 under contract right now. That's the most I've ever had under contract at one time. My goal was to close 4 in the first quarter of the year. It looks like I'm going to close at least 6. So it's just bonkers to me. This career has been life-changing for me and my family. And it's possible. You just have to put your head down and do the work, and rely on the people in your corner, the people who are supporting you, to keep you motivated on those days that you're just not motivated.
Yes. Blythe, your name gets mentioned in my home as much as any real estate
Mary
agent.
and I are friends. You better watch out.
Yes. And Mary's the one who keeps me informed, because I admit I really have very little time for social media. I will occasionally make a post, but I'm never looking at other people's posts. I don't have time to. And she's telling me that Blythe is on fire. She's everywhere. Have you seen her latest video? She's selling houses. And so I didn't know your numbers, but I knew, based upon Mary's almost daily reports to me, something has finally hit critical mass in your business.
Yeah. And I will say that it's, just like everybody's talking about, I guess, beginning of August to about November, it was nothing. So, but I continued to take action, continue to do the things that I knew were going to work. And here we are, January. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just let that be an encouragement to those of you who may be feeling a little disappointed in how things are going right now.
Yeah. When market's tough, the great temptation is to hibernate and say, I'm just going to wait for better times. But if you do, you're going to lose to the agents who didn't go into hibernation mode, but who kept planting the seeds and doing the right thing and taking action every day. They're going to be so far ahead of you at that point. So yes, success goes to the activity takers. All right, Annie, tell us what's going on in your business.
Well, not as much as I would like. It is starting to pick up, thank God. I am working with an investor because the prices are kind of a little bit more realistic and more available to investors. But kind of tapping onto what Blythe said, tonight is our our budget HOA meeting.
Yes.
And I'm gonna head out there. I'm gonna see, because I haven't done this yet, if I can use a community center. If I can get, I got an email from the tax district that they have people that will come out. Well, I'm gonna take a pulse of the community, because all I hear on the Nextdoor app is like, oh my God, look at my gas bill, look at my water bill, look at my tax bill. Well, if I
Right.
can at least address the tax bills with somebody and give them information, then maybe I can do that. Maybe do a Spanish one, maybe do an English one for different people in the community, and start getting noticed that way. There is a lot of activity here in the neighborhood. There's a lot of listings, there's a lot of sales. I mean, we are KDISD, and that drives the market, I think.
Yes.
But yeah, even though I've been getting up and doing what I've used this time for is getting my certifications. I got my RELO. I'm working on my REO. It started last Tuesday during the storm, and I'm kind of looking forward to that. But just trying to take my classes, trying to get my, CEs in and that sort of thing during this downtime. But what Blythe said is true. I need to keep on keeping on, but more
Yes.
focused on the geofarm.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I want to follow up on what you said, because I think it's golden that you're going to the HOA to survey your neighbors about what kind of assistance or education they want with their tax rates from the appraisal district, because that positions you not as a used car salesman, buy a house from me, sell a house from me, but as a servant to the neighborhood, and as somebody who possesses unique knowledge about the neighborhood and what's going on. And I know I mention her name all the time, but Trina Hoffland's been the #1 producer in our company the last 2 years in a row. And she will tell you she was geofarming, much like Blythe. The breakthrough for her came finally when she said to her neighbors, hey, if you want information on your home's value to protest your taxes, and oh, by the way, here's the steps you need to take to protest your taxes. Let me know, and I'll do a free comparative market analysis for you on your home's current value. That's what pushed her over the edge. It gave her business critical mass. So you have to do both. You have to market your services. You have to let them know that you're a successful real estate agent. But at the same time, it has to have that servant component where you demonstrate your expertise and your commitment to serve.
Yeah, I think it's all about education, educating them on what's available and what they can do instead of just griping about it.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll chime in there. How many of y'all got blueberries last year from the plants out back? So blueberries come in season, and when they're in season, that's the time.
Yeah.
Not now, but when they're in season. Right now is tax season time. Right now is when you have traction with your neighbors to talk about helping them with their taxes, because they're fixing to get filleted yet again this spring, and you got to know the dates, and now's the season. So double down on it. I want to give you another little suggestion, Annie. See these little black things? They have them at HAR, and they're not for everybody. I only give them to people that actually have refrigerators. But you can put a little thing on the back side of it, but only for people that have refrigerators. So I'm very selective, but I do query people, and it just so happens that I have some in my pocket at all times, and you just wouldn't believe where they end up. But there you go. And so I just got the stack of them at the HAR office. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Blythe.
Yeah.
And I suppose you can actually pay and get them with your card on them. I just buy the cheapos and I just stick my card on them. But either way.
But do they work on stainless steel?
Yeah, on the side, you tell them. And then you just razz them. You say, oh, I do luxury as well. So you got stainless steel. I have a special thing for luxury client. Titanium. Oh, yeah, I get it. You stick it on your car. I don't care where you stick it. Stick it.
That's awesome.
You still give it to them. And if they say they don't have a fridge, don't believe them either.
Okay, that's awesome. By the way, that would be a great item to put in your bag of goodies if you're going door to door in your geofarm. Personal brochure, a magnet business card like that, sports schedule of the local high school for the spring, couple pieces of hard
Little
candy.
calendar on the fridge still. You know, they have these
That
calendars.
little calendar, magnetic calendar. Yeah, just some, and I'll tell you, I was reminded of this by my son when I went to see him last month in Wichita Falls, back when I was a Remax agent and actively farming Blythe's neighborhood. I took these jar openers, just the piece of little plastic or rubber,
Yep.
allows you to open jars. He said, Dad, we still have it. We still use it all the time. And the reason I started using those is that we still have and use ours from Watson Realty Company in Winter Springs, Florida, that we got 15 years ago when we lived in Florida. So those little rubber jar openers are golden. And if, as people get older, they become more and more important. And last time I checked, everybody's getting older every day. So
Every day.
so those are good little items to stuff in there. Rochelle, you have been quiet, but we know you're there. Tell us what's going on in your business, what's working, what's not, what we can help you with.
It's going a little slowly. I'm annoyed because I'm still trying to figure out why I can't see anybody and you can't see me, but I'm on my phone now, so I can at least see you.
Well, that's a
But
blessing.
yes. So I'm basically working on trying to start fresh and working on marketing in the neighborhood and talking to my neighbors and um, some of my kids' friends and their parents and that sort of thing. I
Yeah.
still have a lot of contacts with people who are looking to relocate, but they just have kind of put things on hold.
Okay. People who are going to relocate, what are they waiting for? Have they told you? What's the concern?
The market, the market,
Okay.
and what's out here and the limited inventory and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So here's something that I rarely drag out my crystal ball, but I'm gonna make a prediction here. We're not going to see home prices fall any further. We people have really adjusted themselves to the interest rates. That's one reason things are picking up. They're about 6.5%. You get a seller contribution. You can buy that down to 6 or 5.75. And given the fact that home prices have lowered or moderated or at least stopped accelerating, people see that as a buying opportunity, knowing that if we see 3s or 2s again in a couple years, they can always refinance. So I think the moderation that we have seen in pricing it may be over. Actually, it would not shock me at all if in February and March we start seeing creeping appreciation in prices again, because the demand for housing in Texas is not going away. The influx of people is still coming. And any housing economist will tell you that we are in a demand market. There's more demand than there is supply. And Rochelle, that's not going to ease up anytime soon either. So people, this may be the best time, the best opportunity to buy. As crazy as that sounds, this may be the best opportunity that they have to buy
I
as
agree.
prices continue to. I think they will start creep back up. Blythe?
I was just going to say, Rochelle, so the challenge for you then is how are you going to choose to communicate that information to the people that you're trying to market to? So if whether that's making a video, whether that's making some sort of flyer or handout, how are you going to communicate your expertise on that subject matter to the people that you're trying to, to reach? That's, I think, where people get a little bit like analysis paralysis. So just
Mhm.
make a decision on how
Mhm.
you're going to communicate that and then do it. And I will tell you that one of my secret weapons is buying Canva templates on Etsy.com. You can get them for like, I don't know, $2.99, $4.99, $19.99, templates of all kinds of stuff that you can adjust to your branding. And then the work is pretty much done for you. You just have to make it look and sound like you.
Wow,
Okay.
that was a power tip right
Great idea.
there.
Yes,
I'll say one
indeed.
more, Rochelle.
But
I've got I've got current market stats and graphs. If you want to pop me an email, or any of y'all, and I'll be glad to share these as individual slides that it's the real data that proves this. And you can just put this out there and say, guys, this is where we are. We have in December under 1 million homes for sale in America, in a country with 330 million people. That's not enough. The normal movement of people about the country requires more homes trading. And when it's less than 1 million, that means you've got multiple buyers for every home that's on the market. And as Frank said it well, this is as good as it's going to get. We're going to be back closer to last year's loco-ness sooner than you think. I'm already seeing signs of an early spring. But again, if anybody wants some of the slides, Kevin Williams Realty at gmail.com. Kevin Williams Realty at gmail.com. Glad to share them with you. And then you can just paste them or send them in an email to a client and say, well, I saw this the other day. Let's talk about your home search afterward. Because I said to these buyers yesterday, I said, look at our viewing of these homes today. Notice that we're the only one viewing the house at this time. I want to tell you that last year it wasn't like this. In Austin, there was a line of people standing on the sidewalk for their 5-minute window to run into the house to make bids with no appraisal, no inspection, no this, waiving everything.
Right.
I said, I felt negligent having buyers in that kind of a scenario. They take everything and then throw it to the wind and just desperately try. I said, you don't want to be in that position. At least right now it's kind of calm and you can go and you can look at houses. But I think our springtime rush, it's going to get crazy around here pretty quick, perhaps even quicker than the normal April, May.
So guys, I do have a 10 o'clock class and a couple things I need to do to prepare for that. So I think we're going to pull the plug a little bit early. I did want to remind you of something very special going on this Saturday, 2 days from now at 10 a.m. We are doing an EXP Expo, Opportunity Expo, right here at the Spring campus. Got a lot of people coming in, mega teams from all over the metro area interviewing for team members. We have other people here who are going to be explaining what EXP is all about and the value add. So if you have anybody in your network who's interested in learning about EXP, bring them here. Or if you yourself or anybody who's interested in joining a team, this would be a great place to make some of those connections. We have in the room with us, Tim, what's your last name?
Davis.
Tim Davis, who
Stand over here.
here, come over here, Tim. I'm gonna put him on the big screen here. That's Tim right there.
He's big Tim Davis.
Yeah.
Look how tall this dude is. Am I okay? Well, I was.
We need a big screen for Tim Davis. But Tim is agent number 6 who has joined us in the last 30 days. And I'll tell you, I was shocked this morning, early this morning, when I pulled up information on our Abby team. I was scared. I've been avoiding it because I just figured agents were leaving in droves, and I didn't want to see the truth. In fact, we have been growing through this, and we are at 170 agents. I'm going to have to stop saying 160.
There you go.
We've added 6 in the last 30 days, Tim being the 6th of those. So people are moving companies, and they are coming our way. So let's go out there and get more than our fair share. All right. Thank you all for joining me. God bless. Let me know anytime I can help you.
Bye, Bert.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Frank. Have a good day, everybody.
Bye-bye.